Hey everyone, welcome to the KE Report and a company update from Valkea Resources. I am chatting with Chris Donaldson, the president and CEO of Valkea. Company is traded on the TSX Venture Exchange under the symbol OZ, on the OTCQB under the symbol OZBKF, and the Frankfurt Exchange S600. Now, Chris, we're talking financing news because the company just yesterday, June 25th, closed a $4.1 million financing. Initially, you came to market trying to raise $3 million. You upsized that and you brought in a few strategic investors. I'm seeing Michael Gentile, now a 9.9% shareholder, as well as Primevest Capital Corp, also a 9.9% shareholder. Chris, the market even reacted well yesterday when you announced the close of this financing. Talk to us about how this all came together, the upsizing of the financing and bringing in a number of strategic investors.
Yeah, hey Corey, thanks for having me here. It's fairly exciting here and nice to get finance here to continue our exploration in Finland. As you know, we've got a dominant land position in one of the hottest gold jurisdictions on the planet right now. We're right adjacent to the Kittilä mine, which is Europe's largest gold producer. So timing is good. Certainly our share price was pretty attractive and really happy that we were able to attract the people that we did into this financing led by Michael Gentile. A number of your listeners will know Michael, and he's takes big positions in companies. He's very supportive. He talks his book. He's also coming on as a strategic advisor to us, and he's got tremendous capital markets experience. So really pleased to have that strong kind of cornerstone investor join us. And we've also got a couple others. So we've also got Primevest, which is Ryaz Shariff, who's a longtime commodities investor and very savvy as well. He was already a smaller shareholder, and he's up to 9.9%. And we've got another group that came in as well for 9.9, and actually and a fourth group that is almost at that level. So, of the 4.1 million, we started out, we said we're going to get three. I think I got about 3.5 million from four people, and then balance out the rest with some really a good group of people as well. So we certainly have a good treasury right now and excited to be able to initiate a summer drill program, which we hope to start in July and then in earnest in August, and follow up on those phenomenal results that we had on our maiden campaign, which we released the results there in March or April.
Okay, I will get into the exploration plans here, but just another comment on the market. So we have seen funds being available too, especially the junior companies over the last few weeks. This is another example of an upsized financing where the stock has performed really well on the back of announcing and closing that financing. Just from the market perspective, as you were raising this money and bringing in these strategics, what are their thoughts on this market? Clearly, they're excited about the direction that stocks are moving, but also, is this Finland focused? Are they just excited about the Finland aspect of the company?
Yeah, I mean, I certainly that's a factor. Finland is a jurisdiction that people want to be in. I mean, we've got five properties and contiguous with us, B2 Gold's there. You got Rupert Resources, one of the best discoveries over the last 5 years. You've got Agnico Eagle, we've got Kinross Gold. So you've got a number of majors that are right beside us, and there's a reason for that. It's a jurisdiction that people want to be in. It's also a greenstone belt, right? Which tend to house, several multi-million ounce deposits. If you look at other ones around the world, this is an underexplored area. And, we were able to get, or S2 Resources, who we acquired the properties from, were able to get a first mover advantage and a dominant position in there. So that's part of it. The other thing is that the market seems to be, more receptive now to exploration plays. It hasn't hit the general retail level yet, but funds have more money. I'm seeing majors in their exploration departments having more money. So checks that, last year were either very small or not happening at all. People have money to deploy now, and it's good to see. And we were a beneficiary of that, and we were able to attract some really solid people into the project. partly because of jurisdiction, partly because of potential, partly because, everybody thinks, that, we're relatively cheap or inexpensive for what we should be in a regular market. So there's a number of factors, but it's definitely getting better than it was.
So let's talk about the exploration that is upcoming. You said start over summer, July, August. I assume this is at the Paana Project. That's where you drilled last year. And some of the initial holes did show some good mineralization. A couple key areas were the Koivu zone and the Honka zone. Give us more insights. What is the strategy going to be here for exploration just at the Paana Project?
Yeah, I mean, we'll put out a full, kind of exploration program overview here in the next, couple weeks here. But certainly, the results of our last program is that we have two different zones, a Honka zone and the Koivu zone. One is what we call Ketela style, which is more similar to what Agnico Eagle's property, and the other one is we call Ikari style, which is more similar to the Rupert property. We're particularly excited about the one that's similar to the Ikari deposit, and it's got longer sections of continuous mineralizations, and we'll focus on that for sure. We also want to do some basic till drilling. We're focused on this one zone, which is great. We want to understand how much we have there, what's the potential, is it a multi-million ounce deposit? But we also want to get some understanding of some of the other targets that we have on the land package. So we'll do some basic till drilling. So it'll be a combination of the both. And like you said, we'll start in July and then some diamond drilling starting probably right at the beginning of August.
What about some of the other projects that you hold, all within this Lapland Greenstone belt? You have one where you have a JV with Rupert Resources and also a couple others that are 100% owned. Do you foresee doing any work on these assets this year?
Yeah, I mean, our focus would be on Paana and the Rova project that we have, which are in the north. We're happy that Rupert has been working on our JV properties, and they just announced that they actually hit some long sections of mineralization on their update here last month, which is great. So that's continuing. The other projects, we're doing a bit of an assessment on them. It's just, at our size and with a land package that big, we need to focus on our high priority targets, which are on Paana and Rova. We may look to do something creative with some of the other projects, which are, right in the mix with B2 Gold and Orion and next to Rupert. We may look to try to monetize them in some way, but really our focus is going to be on Paana and exploring or expanding on the discoveries we have to date.
So with this 4.1 million less fees and whatever else you have to pay around closing that financing, do you envision spending the whole budget this year? Are you going to keep some in the treasury? What is the capital management strategy now that you do have a much better balance sheet?
Yeah, we spent down to our last dollar on the last campaign, and that gets a bit stressful. But we also want to put as much into the ground as we can. So we'll do a decent program there, at least a few thousand meters on diamond, and then some basic till drilling. That'll be our summer program there, and then we'll pause, and then actually most of the drilling happens in the winter. So we'll save a bit and have a winter program start again in December or November of this year as well.
So, Chris, kind of a market overview here where the company was fairly quiet this year after releasing the drill results from last year's program. Now you have money, and it's such a better market environment. Plus, there is still a lot of activity going on in Finland. So, how should investors, I guess, view Valkea? It still seems early on exploration, but again, these projects, it's not like they haven't been drilled either by you or by prior operators.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good point. Look, we're early stage exploration. The difference is we have a lot of meat on the bones for what we have. We've got two joint ventures, one with Rupert in Finland. We also got our legacy Australian assets that S2's working on at Fosterville in Australia. Those are advancing without cost to us as we go. We've got a lot of projects. Our main focus on the exploration already has a discovery. We know there's a lot of gold in that system. It's just for us right now to drill more and to be able to understand what the potential is. And all indications now is that it's something that could be the next Sakari, the next Kittilä, which is Europe's largest gold producer, which is 14 kilometers away. So, we have a lot of potential there. This is not a cross our fingers and hope we hit something. We know we're in a system. It's just a matter of understanding how big it can be.
All right. Well, Chris, I'm going to follow up with you when we get more information on the exploration project. Now that you have capital, look, you're going to be out drilling, following up on some of the hits from last year. So if anybody has any follow-up questions for Chris regarding this financing or what's coming, please send me an email. I will get him to address those as I follow up on the exploration plans and especially when the drilling starts. We are pretty much at the end of June, so July right around the corner here. And Chris, hey, congratulations on raising this money, bringing in those strategics, and now having more of an exploration focus for the rest of this year. So thanks for your time.
Hey, thanks, Corey.